Babymonster performed in Los Angeles. Today we're going to analyze the song, SHEESH. This is them performing in Los Angeles. Here, it seems like it's that more informal part of the show, which is the Encore, if I'm not mistaken. So they're more relaxed while singing. Some people suggested I watch this, because it seems like there are some improvisations, and they sing more laid back. So it seems like there's a slightly different performance here. I looked for some different camera angles here. I listened to a few seconds of the song, and this was the one with the best sound quality. Let's see what they delivered in this song. Here, we have, with cell phone cameras, we always have that difficulty that I always mention, depending on where the camera is placed, whether it's closer or farther from a speaker. We'll hear either more or less of the voices or the playback. So there's a bit of that difficulty, but what we notice here, up to this point, we heard Chiquita and Rora. Rora with a bit more volume, and Chiquita with the volume more aligned with the vocal playback. A bit shaky, but completely understandable because they're relaxed here. This song talks about, here, not speaking to Babymonster fans, because they already know this, but for others. But this song is about empowerment. A person who is self-affirmation, gaining confidence, and showing others that she has, now, have power, ability, and prominence. Including this phrase in the song, this sheesh, this catchphrase. It's like others looking at her, and off. So there's an interpretation here that makes this song quite interesting, and its melody, its structure, is very rich song. Melodically it's very. It has shifts in scenes, including of themes within the song itself, making it quite complex. From a compositional standpoint, it's very interesting and challenging to perform. Rami and Pharita. Rami naturally with much more volume. She already did a melisma, so an improvisation of some note sequences on the same syllable she was on. And she did well with her powerful voice. Pharita stayed more balanced with the vocal playback, but I heard more of her in this song than in my previous reaction. I forgot the name now, but with her very characteristic timbre, in that little placement back there, with a lot of harmonics. So, this melody, more Arabic, more Egyptian, to familiarize you. So also showing that this song really has that strong vibe, to show herself really, power, a certain pride, superiority. And I don't like this song recorded. You already know I've explained it all. But here, this song on stage, with that heavy rock behind it, that heavy drum, bass, and that guitar relatively in the background but still very present. This song, as a subscriber once said, the song comes to life. This song comes alive with the instruments. It's very beautiful. And it gains more aggressiveness, you know? In the chorus before it starts, Ahyeon even lets out a scream, guttural. And when the instruments come together, the beat of the drums also, doing great sequences of time breaks there. So it brings even more aggressiveness. Here, this is a song I listen to comfortably and it pleases me, this version with the band. But the studio version, I don't like it. That's why I don't consider myself a fan of Babymonster. But beautiful the stage performance. The one who did this rap duet now was Ahyeon and Rora, or Ahyeon and Asa. I'll guess, and you tell me down below. I'll guess it's Ahyeon and Rora. Correct me. I listen. I've been able to identify Asa's tone a little bit. I think I'm getting used to her tone. But Rora's, I'm not sure. So write it here. In any case, it's quite interesting how Ahyeon has aggressiveness. In all the raps she comes in very aggressive. Just like the girls, the two rappers, Asa and Rora. And the stage presence of Rora and Asa is really very confident, very expressive, aggressive too. You notice them. So, they kind of compensate. The fact that the other five are the singers, who are almost always more present, which is natural. And they compensate with their performance, especially Rora. She stands out a lot in that. I was right because Asa is here, so I'm getting used to the timbre. So that was Rora. And this is Asa. Asa has a voice that is slightly in the glottal region, a voice that is more pushed back and nasal. It's a nasal voice and slightly metallic. Actually quite metallic, but it doesn't have as many harmonics as Ahyeon's. It would be a voice similar to Ahyeon's voice in the mid to high range. But Ahyeon has many more harmonics due to the closure she makes with her tongue, as I explained in her reaction. This chorus is wonderful with the band, really good with the band. Rora also with A well-placed voice here. They are very comfortable, so it won't be a perfect execution with perfect fits. The song is also very energetic. So, within this context, they are performing well. Everything in tune, all of them singing in tune at all times. What you always notice is the entries of the registers, their transitions are a bit more aggressive and more abrupt. So, they allow themselves that, a more relaxed moment. So within this context, they are doing very well. Whenever they fit this, the is very characteristic of Babymonster. It's a fit that all of them do the same way. Almost the same timbre comes, and is a sweetness that chills me, always. The most beautiful one is Pharita's. Not the other girls do the same fit, Pharita and Chiquita. But more from Pharita because the timbre I like the most is Pharita's. But all of them do this fit, including Asa. That's why I say there's a singing school from YG. Very good. So, Rami, playing a lot with her low notes. Really, this sequence of low notes she does in this part, it's very beautiful and she shows a lot of vocal power. She really does it very precisely with a lot of volume, with projection. And here, she made a different arrangement than what she did in the recording. It's very much within the context of the song, which is to show power, aggressiveness, superiority. Very beautiful. And then she does it by coming out of the head voice. She comes down from there and transitions the register to the chest voice in a very low range. All this cadence she did with delicacy and uniformity, which is what matters. That's how it should be. My congratulations to Rami. So, we have to changes here, an introduction to a march, which is already different from how the previous melody was, and now she starts properly. That part, very military-like. It's, if you put this in an instrumental, with an orchestra, it would be very interesting. It would be a very interesting sound. It's a bit caricatured, but very beautiful. Quite complex. And daring even, because it might not please many ears. It's not a simple melody to listen to. There are abrupt breaks in melodic types, and you add a military march. Really, few ears enjoy that. This with the band is wonderful. Very good. Very interesting, they did it this way. A song that, I repeat, is complex in terms of melody. To execute the part that is more complex, technically difficult, is what Ahyeon does, that she goes into the mixed voice with an open belting in a very high range, where she always dares to go in her full voice. And it fits very well within the context. It fits very well. But I prefer that she doesn't play around too much in that high range. For reasons I mentioned, believe I talked about it in her reaction. But for your care, many famous rockers, metal singers from big bands like Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and others like Aerosmith, many after a long time, because they always played around in their highest extremes, had to undergo surgery. You don't mess with high notes. High notes are dangerous. It's wonderful for those who enjoy it. Compared to us basses and contraltos, we like the low notes. Tenors and sopranos love the high notes. But caution is necessary. She's doing well and she can handle it, but she has youth now. Later in old age, it may take its toll. So, it's something that needs care. But within the context of the song in a small section, it's not a problem. The problem is doing this in every song, frequently. So it's a section that requires technique, but she delivers it in tune. It doesn't sound forced. She does it with a lot of voice, but it's dangerous. But the only really complex part, and there is the other extreme of Rami going into her lowest notes, and which was very well done. So all the girls are imposing their voices with excellent diaphragmatic support, as always, for all of them. And the voice is always clear even with the vocal playback. Now everything is high volume and they're comfortable. But the notes blend well with the playback, so that's it. It's very well done. Within the context of this performance, I think they did very well. Very entertaining. And the song, for my personal taste, I like this song. With the band like this, with this rock, heavy even. Including the band brought a lot of balance, but it's still heavy. Especially because of the characteristics of the drums and the bass, which are very prominent, very marked. But it's wonderful and congratulations to the girls. It's not a song where we can analyze here, with a lot of detail their vocal technique. But we can see something here, at least in terms of the progress they're making. And they'll continue to improve, as I said, until their last performance at the end of the year. This year here, their first little step in this ascent. So, if you enjoyed this video, leave your like and your comment below. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and consider supporting financially below, through the pinned comment with the PayPal link or through the YouTube Super Thanks button. Alright, see you next time.